Welcome back to Algo.js. Today's question is leetcode 1823. Find the winner of the circular game. So we have this game with n friends and they are rotating in a clockwise direction. The rules of the game are as follows. So we start at the first friend. So we start at this friend. We count the next k friends in a clockwise direction, including the friend that you start at. So in the first example, we have k equaling to 2. So we move k directions, right? So we start off at 1. This counts as 1. And then we move to the second friend. The last friend you counted leaves the circle and loses the game, right? So this friend is gone. If there is still more than one friend in the circle, go back to step 2, starting from the friend immediately clockwise. So now we're at friend 3. We move k positions and we also count the first friend. So we move from here to here and we delete this friend. So we remove this friend from the game. Then we start at 5. We count k elements. So 1, 2. We delete this one. We move clockwise. So we're at 3. We start the count. 1, 2. We delete this friend and then we are left with a winner. So how can we solve this? Well, because there is a loop, there are two approaches. We could use modulo or we could use a queue to simulate a cycle. So let's look at the queue approach. We have 5 friends in this queue. Now what is a queue? A queue just restricts the process in order of an array from first in to first out. So we use shift to shift off the first element and then we add to the end. And by using that logic, we can create a cycle from this. So if we start off at the first element, we are going to be moving k-1 operations across. And the reason for this is because we count the first friend as a value of k. So in example 1, k is equal to 2. We count the first friend, then we move to the second friend and we stop here. But before we do that, we need to create the cycle. So we shift off q, the first value, and then we push into q that exact same value. So we push 1 in over here. So our result array looks like this. And now we just remove the first value within the queue. We do that by shifting off. And this is the result of removing 2. Now we move along by k-1 friends, and with each friend we move along, we shift off and then push on to the end. That will result in the queue looking like this. We remove the first element by shifting off and repeat the process. So we have 5, 1, and 3. We move k-1 elements to the right, and with each move, we shift off of q and push on to the end. So we have 1, 3, and 5. We shift off the first element, removing it, and now we're left with 3 and 5. We flip these values, so we have 5 and 3, and we remove the first friend. Finally, all we need to do is shift off the last value of q in order to get the results. Let's start off by declaring q, which is equal to an empty array. We're going to loop through where I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to n, I++. This is to populate q with the number of friends, q.push I. Then while q.length is greater than 1, we'll get to remove variable, which is going to be equal to k-1. So the value of friends we move along before we have to remove a friend. And then while to remove is greater than 0, we're going to shift off the queue, that value, and then we need to push it back into the queue to create the cycle. And then we need to decrement to remove. Now, the friend that will currently be on needs to be removed from the queue. And we'll do that by shifting off a queue. Once this while loop reduces q to a length equaling to 1, we just return the last value within q. So it will be q.shift, and that will give us the result. So let's give this a run. Submit it. And there you go.